Hi, Samhita again, and I welcome all of you to the webinar, which I am doing after some time. I yesterday saw one of my friends doing starting off again, so I thought I'd be doing it today so that I can communicate my ideas. This is about the three secrets of performance optimization using which one can stand out in a crowd. So it will be my story, and we'll discuss that once we are through with this introduction part. And I welcome all of you to the webinar, and I hope everybody is interested in learning few of the things or all of the things, whatever my experience has been, and I share that. And it is not a direct formula kind of thing. Whatever experiences I have done and my focus, wherever my focus was, that focus, if you can pick up, then your own solutions, you can start working on those, and those will be uh, your own solutions. The whatever I am proposing is part of my solution, and almost invariably these are the solutions everybody will. This is the line everybody will pick up to design their solutions. I'm very sure of that. And so far, whoever I have trained, they have also designed their own solutions, taking clue from whatever I have trained them through. So that will be again your solutions, and it will be very, very unique solutions for each of you. And I'm very sure of that. And let us start uh, sharing my experience and the hints and the clues, the secrets, so that you can start picking up. So give me a second. Let me share my screen. Hope everybody is able to see the screen. And this is this this is my experience, compilation of all my experiences, my story about the three secrets to optimize performance and stand out in a crowd. Just give me a second. Now, scientifically comfortable. So, uh, hope if everybody is able to see the screen, right? And whoever is coming in, welcome all. Who it is for? This is for change makers and trendsetters and extraordinary human beings. So when I was working, I always thought that I would be doing this for the employees, the mid-career professionals and upcoming team leads who kind of appear to be very stuck in their professional life after say 8 to 10 years of working in their area, and they I saw them grieving over their workplace issues and wasting so much of energy in discussing about who has to be blamed and what problems he or she is facing, both the genders, So everybody is kind of troubled with their workplace issues. And whenever I listen to their stories, and this was happening while I was traveling in the metros, in the buses, and trains everywhere. So whenever I heard those stories, I thought to myself, if these are the same things that I am doing at my workplace, because I was getting irritated each time I heard those stories, and I could see that these people were troubled because certain issues they can actually, these problems are real, very real, and the pain is also real, and I don't deny that. But what if you are discussing about it more and more, it is going to be troubling you all the more, right? And so what is the use discussing it? Rather, we can invest that time taking our mind off those problems and try to find a solution. So the first basic thing that always hits me after that round of experience was to focus in the solution rather than the problem. So then the solutions will start coming up, and surprisingly, it starts coming because you are looking at solutions, right? So it will be solutions that all you can see rather than the problem. So how to do that? It requires practice. So let us discuss further. And here, what you will learn is I'll be sharing my story, of course, and my 3 point formula to optimize performance and stand out in a crowd, and how I did that. I'll share that, and you can pick up your formula out of that, or you can decide to train with me, and then how you can work with me, of course, and then question and answer. Right? So this will be the sequence of our webinar today, and who I call as the trendsetters and the change makers, and also the extraordinary human beings. These traits are like say they are resolute, responsible, innovative, curious, hardworking, genuine, helping, supportive, and everybody knows about this, right? You think yourself to be resolute, all these having all these qualities, right? Everybody thinks that they have these qualities, and and I of course I don't deny that these are the qualities that most of the people have, but do they utilize it? That is the question, right? Everybody aspires to be having all those qualities of a trendsetters, change makers. Everybody wants to make a change, right? Everybody wants to do something very different so that the world will follow them. And extraordinary human beings are when you recognize the other people as well, as potential as you are. So that is that is the category I call them as extraordinary human beings. So those traits mm, are very pronounced in these kind of human beings. Hope you people all are thinking over it and deciding on this, focusing on this. Your attention is coming over to these qualities that you have already. I'm pretty sure, I'm 100% sure that all these qualities exist in everybody, but how we utilize them. So this will be appreciated by people who are already focusing on these qualities, right? So in both the genders, the lady, the women, whom I call them, I have branded them as Rihanna, and the men, the gentlemen, they are branded as Irfan. So that is how I have branded it. It has nothing to do with any um, religion thing. So just these names came to my mind, and I have just put those names. So, um, so that is how I will call you. If you are a man, then I will call you Irfan Brand, and if you are a woman, then I will call you as Rihanna. And what they are specifically looking at, they are looking to break barriers of their existence. Whatever they are doing extraordinary. They are doing something out of the way, and um, but they want to do, they want to experience more, they want to do more, they want to serve more, and they will share my vision to go global. So this is a distinct vision that these people are having nowadays, and that is why they feel stuck in their limited existence. So that is what we will be discussing. So what questions basically they are asking? How can I earn more? Because the world kind of solicits about the more the income, the more worthy the person is. So this is what they are bothered about. How can I earn more? Although this is not the priority in their existence and whatever they are doing, but this is definitely an essential component of whatever they are trying to do. The second thing is how can I reach the rainbow? Because their dream is so very high and they're aspiring for something which is not existing in the present circumstances. So that is why I call that as rainbow, and they are actually thinking about the rainbow. How can I reach the rainbow? And the third thing is how can I make a difference? So that is the tool. If they can make a difference, they can ultimately reach the rainbow. So these are the three things they are invariably concerned with. So let us try to discover how they can do that. And obviously, you can see that these practices are to be installed within oneself, and that takes time. Right? So, what we will examine here, we'll examine about three things about our own uniqueness. The second thing is the credibility that we have with project, and third thing is the depth. How do we think ourselves to be, right? Um, so, what are those? So when we talk of the uniqueness traits, these are about whether the person is whether the person is an action taker. Um, Welcome, Jitendra. So we are already 14 minutes into the webinar, and hope we will take up your questions after some time. So uniqueness traits are one should be an action taker. Jitendra, you are there. No? Please write in the chat if you are okay. You are able to listen to me. So the uniqueness traits are somebody who is an action taker, who is committed, and who is proactive. So these are the three characteristic traits of an of a person who is very unique. And everybody, each of us is born unique. The second thing is we'll examine our credibility. So how do we establish our credibility? When one person is dealing with ambiguity, a good manager is one who can deal with ambiguity. What does this mean? Ambiguity is like there are a set of rules, and when you are working, there are a lot of confusion about certain things. Like I'll tell you one example. When I joined in a bigger organization sometime back, about 10 years back, then what happened? I was to be given one laptop, and there were certain rules who will be given the laptop. So a project manager will be given a laptop, but I was my designation was a project consultant. So since I I was not the project manager, then the store person, he had a difficulty about my designation, and he was not able to assign me a laptop. You know, so these are the uh, breaks in the walls, which which are ambiguity, which creates confusion, which creates ambiguous position, whether I have to be given a laptop or not. So this was small thing. There are a lot of confusion if you are experienced in your workplace, then you will know that lot of confusion. And if you are able to take a smart decision uh, by overcoming this ambiguity, then that is how you establish credibility. So for me, the store person had to seek the permission of my manager, my boss, and uh, immediately identified this confusion and she allowed it, right? So that is how I got the laptop assigned to me. Then the second thing is consistency. When you do certain things, you perform, whether irrespective of your success or failure. If you keep on doing whatever your work portfolio is, then that is what called consistency. Whether somebody is angry, somebody has discouraged you, somebody has said something, you have faced some shortcoming, some failures, and despite that, you are sticking to your duties and responsibilities. That is what consistency is. And then resilience. Of course, it is like consistency. Resilience is dealing with the adversity. Whatever, like I say, there is failure, there is at times there is failure, there is shortcomings. You will not be appreciated. Hi, Jitendra. Good to see you. So, yeah, keep your video on so that I can know your expressions also. So this is called resilient. That is the second trait of a uniqueness person. Then the third thing is depth. How we call how can you define depth? Depth is the goal. The goal, everybody has a goal for say the next 12 months. Everybody asks me whether you have what about your goal. I have a very very huge enormous goal, and everybody calls what about the next 12 months, what are you going to achieve in the next 12 months, and if it is congruence with the bigger goal that I have, that I need to know, right? So when we set a goal, we can work backwards and see whether we are doing the exact thing today. So that is what the depth of goal requires. So if it is over in say next 5 years you are achieving that, then you have to set a next goal, and that next goal has to be something whatever you have done, otherwise you have wasted your time. But it is allowed also. Suppose you have been doing something and you have just transitioned to another area of your work, nobody knows how life will take you to the other aspects, right? So nobody knows. Life is very very uncertain, and we don't know what we will do next 5 years. But your goal has to be there as a direction for you. That goal has to be defined, and how much depth, how much work you can do, how much work you are thinking of doing. That is defined by a goal. That is what. Um, that is why goals are important. Then circle of influence. Unless you increase your influence a certain, like say, if you are influencing say 5 people, whatever you are saying, the other 5 people are listening. Then you can do your work properly, right? You are not alone in a setup. Then if you can influence say 10 people tomorrow, that is when you attract promotion for yourself, right? Because you are able to influence 10 people now. And if you can influence say 500 people, that is still a bigger circle of influence. That is what I am describing as circle of influence, right? So the bigger the circle of influence, the bigger the possibility for your promotion, getting to the next position. Whether people recognize you or not, you are getting to the next stage. I'll tell you one example. I had worked in Meghalaya for 2 years, and I was an assistant manager out there. And we will talk about my work responsibility out there in the next slides. Mm, but what happened, something went wrong um, during those two years. And my boss was, my reporting officer was the vice president. He was in the level of vice president, and somehow he found my behavior to be very very repelling, and he didn't assign me any responsibility. But because my interest in those kind of work, livelihoods and helping people and other things, I kept on doing my work. So I was directly handling East Khasi Hills and West Khasi Hills, two districts of Meghalaya, and we were giving small loans to people to start a small business. That is what we do. Microfinance, you must have heard. So that is what we do, and I do. I am engaged with. So what happens? West Khasi Hills is the farthest area from Shillong. Shillong is the capital city of Meghalaya, and it is a risky place. It is the border is close to Bangladesh, and when people take money, they usually don't repay. But till I was there, there was no default in those areas. Everybody was paying in time, and it was a surprise for many of those people. Since I was able to do so very good in two districts, uh, my people were expecting me to also handle other districts also. There are 7 districts in Meghalaya, and those are very very far off. If you know about Meghalaya, it takes hell lot of time to travel from one place to other place. Once you cross Shillong, then the roads are very very pathetic, and you take for crossing over 80 kilometers also it takes 4 hours. And if you want to go to the eastern side of Meghalaya, then you have to go through Assam. You have to go to Assam and then go there. There is no direct road connecting east and west side of Meghalaya. So it was humanly impossible for me to handle those things. But when something went wrong, see, so the some one auditor came and he asked me what happened, what wrong happened. Then I said, you should ask the vice president, right? Why are you asking me? You are saying you. Everybody is telling that you are the most influential person here, and you can influence the eastern side as well as the western side. So everybody knows that the that all the things. Sorry, it was western Meghalaya, which is very far off, which we needed to be crossed via Assam. You go to Guwahati and then you cross entire Assam and go to come over again to Meghalaya. So, so that was the thing out here, and so um, it was the circle of influence is that. Then mindfulness. While you are doing something, it is you need to silently observe your your own action as well as everybody's actions, so that you can know about uh, you can understand, right? You can give some time to the other person also, and that is how you can understand the other person better. Now coming back to my story, let us start with the story so that you can understand what I am saying and why I am saying. So the beginning is when I started. Uh, so sorry about this. Hmm? Let us get back to. So my beginning was like say I was a senior programmer in ORG Mark Action Research, Social Research, where I was a senior programmer. So I started as a programmer, and it was about data analysis. I did sorry about that again. Let me share the screen. So I did this data analysis, and I was feeling like below potential. So people were traveling a lot, and at that time I was in such a position, some family problem as well, which is why I couldn't travel to other areas. So I had to be in Bhubaneswar. That is where I was posted, and for the training also I was not able to go. You know, family issues as well as workplace issues, and I was not able to find the good opportunities at Bhubaneswar, as it is there are very few opportunities if one wants to be working out there. So that was for say for the first 12 years of my career. Yes, during 1991 to 2002, I worked there, and the entire time I was very, very unhappy because despite my brilliance, I was promoted to the next position. But I was I was not given a significant accountability, responsibility, or decision making. Right? So I was feeling I was doing all the dirty work. I was in charge of the entire data analysis. That means I had to train the investigators, I had to design the questions, I had to analyze the data, and I had to give with the first draft of the report. But and whatever I have done, this credit would go to the next level, right? The person who will be finalizing the report and all. And so that is where I, I was stuck, as most of you are stuck. So after say 12 years of such suffering, I I took a big decision to go to another city. From Bhubaneswar, I went to Hyderabad, and I joined Basics, which is a big company. And at that time, Basics had 14 components within it, 14 companies. It was a conglomerate of 14 companies. So huge opportunity, and the employees were allowed to kind of flip through the companies. It depended upon their kind of work. Each company was dealing with a certain kind of work, and whenever the services of an employee was required, his time would have been booked in that company. So it was kind of huge opportunity, and it was a bigger setup where there is very little chance of politics, and everybody was recognized because of their ability to contribute to the projects that is going on. And then when it came to explore to the northeast, like going to the Meghalaya, as I spoke some time back, it was a new territory for the company, and there were several other difficult projects we will be discussing afterwards. Those I wanted to take because I wanted also to travel to new areas and to work in new territories. And I never had a problem with dealing people. So that is why I took those things, because I loved my work, loved the whatever work that is that were part of those projects. And then that is when I started looking inwards. And for every problem, the other person is not responsible. The circumstances are not responsible. One needs to get over those problems, those circumstances, and um, start for solutions, right? So that is what I did during my. Sorry about this thing. And then the what I wanted. So when I took this projects, why I took these projects? I wanted to be the core team because, as it is Basics, where I joined, was a big company of 8,500 employees working in 16 states of India, and those people were recognized by the chairman of Basics. The then chairman of Basics, Mr. Vijay Mahajan, is an international figure. He is part of the financial committee of India that time also, and so I wanted to be wanted to get to the core team where mm, where the big people were assembling, and I wanted to be part of that. So, what would it take me to get into that community? That is what I was trying to do, and so that was my experience that time, which influenced my decision as well. And when I wanted to take up these projects, why I was assigned those projects? I was assigned those projects because mm, I I love I kind of I make an impression that I can do, right? And I can see a solution everywhere. So when I propose a solution, people think that yeah, these might be something which one should go for, because the other people are not finding any solution. So whoever has a solution, that has to be assigned. When in difficult circumstances, people think like that, right? So and these projects were in remote and risky areas. So if somebody is willing to go and work there, then there was no alternative. They had to assign me these projects, right? So these are the opportunities, circumstantial, op- you can say, some kind of opportunities which came my way, and I grabbed them, right? So let us talk about the projects that I handled. The one was the Bhamasah project in Rajasthan in 2008, which enumerated 44 lakh women in 29 districts. That means we had to reach out to 44 lakh women, and there are 33 districts in Rajasthan, but we were assigned the work for 29 districts, and we had 12,000 volunteers all across India, not necessarily belonging to our own organization. That means I didn't know most of them, and at least 50% of them I didn't know. And that was to be done in 2 months' time, because I had taken this program. So, what I had to do was, if you see, this 12,000 people, this 12,000 people, these were the key people, key stakeholders in the program if it were to be successful. So, what I did was, I trained these people, and I asked for solution how to go about it. And most of them proposed to do camps. And for each district, they had designed 40 to 65 camps, depending on the population of that particular district and the women population particularly. And they had started out one program for them. So the key thing out here was to motivate these 12,000 people who were stakeholders, to identify the key stakeholders. It was not something which can be done, which could have been done in by a single person. So these 12,000 people were very important. So the first learning is, if you have a big goal, it cannot be singular. You have to involve people. You have to bring in people, and these 12,000 people were to be trained, and that was in 2 months' time, which means I had to train them, I had to motivate them, and I had to ask them their choice of district, and this entire design was done in 11 days. Afterwards, we started making the camps, and we completed this project within 2 months' time. You know? So that was the first significant thing which brought me to limelight in the company. The second was the CSC project in Meghalaya. It was Common Service Center project, which comes under the e-governance project, National E-Governance Project of Government of India, and wherein each there would have there were kiosks to be built, and each kiosk, there were 239 kiosks to be established all across the 7 districts, and there were people to be posted in those kiosks, and the time period was 2 years. So what is the work of this CSC projects? It will be a kiosk. Kiosk, everybody knows, it is the infrastructure is built, like the laptop is there, the internet is the essential thing which needed to be established, because Meghalaya is a very, very difficult territory where the broadband was not working. So I chose to give them data cards. So that was a very, very big decision from me, which the department of the information department and the rural department, they appreciated very much. We could connect all these centers to the central server at Shillong, and we also had installed five VSATs. This when the data card also doesn't work, the signal is very, very weak. Then actually the VSATs are required. VSATs are very, very expensive at that time. We installed five VSATs from our own budget. That is when we could influence the government of Meghalaya to donate 42 visas in remote areas. So those things I could achieve in Meghalaya. Then the third thing, after Meghalaya, I was assigned the project of Bandhavgarh, which is a tiger reserve area in eastern Madhya Pradesh, and it is a very, very remote area. It is very difficult to travel there, and there is no suitable place to stay. Also, one needs to figure out how one can stay. And the first thing that I would like to mention is this community was trained to win 17 awards for 4 years. Please remember that here, if you can also mark this, that mm, I didn't take any of the awards that came to this area. All these awards, we kept the community leaders on the forefront, and that is how we achieved. Imagine a community which was having gunga, like say the ladies were hiding in their homes, and they were not supposed to go out of their homes. From that situation to these ladies forming their own federation of 500 ladies, they formed their own federation. They had generated a corpus of 56 lakhs, and they ultimately, within 4 years of time, it was a food scarce pocket. That is why the project started. People were having food for only 3 months. The rest of the time they were to depend on the forest, the tiger reserve. And when there was no fence at that time, and if they were getting into the core area, then there were casualties. So that is why the project started, to give them alternative livelihoods. And with these efforts, we trained the ladies, 500 ladies, and then we trained 2,500 youths to take up the work. Each of them had learned a skill depending upon their education level. The ladies were uneducated, so we had trained them on one of the specific skill of this alternative livelihood, mostly agriculture. So, um, see, after 4 years, this is a slide where our farmers were recognized at Gujarat. Um, Mr. Narendra Modi was the then chief minister out there. Like he identified our farmers and awarded them. This is the entire community how they started doing something when NREGA work was not available properly. They took up to hybrid mustard cultivation, which means they they also broke the record, the state record of mustard production. It was 12 quintal minimum per acre, and the maximum was 24 quintal per acre. So that is how they were motivated. Then there is this ideal woman leader award from CII, Confederation of Indian Industries, where 1.5 cash award was there. That award also came. I am displaying some of the prominent award for the community, right? And this is the minister, industry minister, Mr. Anand Sharma is recognizing uh, the lady Devdi Bai. One of the farmer got MS Swaminathan Research Foundation Awards to for farm productivity, agroforestry, agriculture and cropping system, and knowledge. He was good at training also. So these were the some of the some of the awards that were won in those areas. And within 4 years' time, this area there were long line before the society to sell their produce, the surplus produce, which which you can now say people had their food, they kept their food, and whatever surplus was produced, they were able to sell at the society at the government decided price. So that was what was facilitated. So when you get determined about doing something, it is so easy to execute the work. Also, we did several other things. We took the advantage of Rajiv Gandhi Vidyut Yojana, and we installed three-phase transform in two places. Three-phase system is required for irrigating the land, and somehow these places were off grid, so we took the advantage. So 60 the projects were worth 60 lakhs INR, but we could do by taking the advantage of the scheme, we could do it in 5 lakhs, and we utilized the money saved in the corpus of the federation. So the entire community was brought together to have these things. The next I did was 11 FPOs in Sikkim in 3 months, taking advantage of the my experience beforehand. I I did this in Sikkim as well. In Sikkim, um, there were two districts, east and north, and I just took advantage of the community mobilization that is already there. So I influenced the community leaders, the president and the secretary that is to be elected in every group. There were for each FPO. FPO means the farmer producer organization, which involves at least 500 farmers to 1,000 farmers. And the objective of this project was to give these farmers training, better idea how to cultivate, and how to link their how to link their produce to the nearest market. So that is called market linkage. Also get the inputs like say fertilizer, seeds in a very affordable price because of the volume, because every all the farmers are together, they are offering the collective volume to the seller, and they are able to offer a price way below than the decided price. So that is what we did in 3 months. And the wherever I am working during the pandemic period, I I bagged two very significant projects, which are worth 2 crores. And when I wrote this, it was say 5 crores, but right now it is more than 5 crores. You can see, I have 7 crores of projects to be written, and those are in the it is there for our begging. Uh, Whenever we want to take this, we can take. And one RBI sanctioned project of financial literacy of 11 crore. So during adverse time also, we could formulate such drafts, such projects, which could bring us regular work, continuous work. And these are some of the recognition that I had in basics. This is the one of the founder, Mr. Sankar Datta, and this is Vijay Mahajan, the international leader that I was talking about. And with him, this she is the she was the then chairman of the entire basics, and this is with Professor. Mohammad Yunus, who is a Nobel laureate for microfinance. Um, and I had an opportunity to meet him and discuss with him about the new project, new way of approaching the poor segment of the society who are still deprived. And this was an opportunity where I clicked a picture with him. Then now that was about me, right? Um, Coming back to your story, have you the uh, experience of all this trouble, achievement, and then recognition, kind of thing? So that is how we that is how everybody progresses towards their journey, life journey, right? So let us discuss where you feel stuck. Are you stuck? Might be you are not stuck, but you want to, as we discussed in the beginning, you want to achieve more. So how do you achieve more? Uh, you have to get yourself out of uh, the situation where you are getting a lot of negative vibes. You have to transform yourself towards a situation where you can get the positive vibe. How you can do, we can discuss individually when we start with the work, start with the course. And maybe you are giving 100%, but your success rate is just 1 to 2%. And maybe you are stuck in your mindset, you are not able to see a solution. So either of these three or many of these three might happen with you, right? So this is what we deal with in this course. So this is the course material where we why it is necessary for you the vision, mission statement, self reflection, achievement and goals if you have, developing the mindset of an employer, goal setting exercise, finding a niche. So this is where we uh, find your uniqueness, right? So that is the first component that we deal with. The next is establishing your credibility. So you do these are the ways you can establish your credibility, turning a negative story to positive, analysis, and get a positive output, a positive solution for that, from that, setting a positive intention. When you are not able to do anything at all, you can start with a positive intention. You know, very surprisingly, it changes so many things. Recently, what I had done is uh, I wanted to take the support of one of my senior colleague who is a bit grieving type. He never supported me easily. So I just put an intention because so much of work is coming. I needed support of senior as well as my peer and the junior colleagues, right? So that is when, because he is a very important stakeholder in the entire scheme. So I just put an intention. I'm still angry about him because the last 3 years he has been in friction with me, but that is okay. But I just set an intention saying myself that he should be supportive about me. Very surprisingly, in 2 days' time, luckily I received one project, small project, and he applauded me like anything, and he is supporting me like anything in the um, last week. It was just 15 days back that I set that intention. So is it not very surprising? So these surprising experiences also happen during our course. So we will go very deep in our course as to how to do that, and we will set you up for very surprising experiences. You will be very surprised, right? And ultimate identity, because of this thing, you will see yourself evolving very fast, and you have to take some decision as well whether you need to travel. If you need to travel in your evolved identity, and if you don't like to travel, so those kind of decision you need to take. Or we can find out one alternative for every problem that you have. Every problem with a mentor or with a supportive hand or a supportive soul, you can actually do this find a solution. Right? The third thing is about the goal thing, how much depth you have, and these are the practices. Nothing of it is like say you going to get a bigger skill, bigger degree, uh, all that. That is not required actually. What you need to do is enhance yourself as a human being. And so these are the exercises we'll be doing along with you. And it actually helps evolve you as a better human being. And um, apart from that, in our weekly calls, we can do these self-analysis. You will get a lot of situation in getting how to take care of some of these situations, and all those we will discuss in the weekly group calls. This is the transitional shift when you are establishing your credibility. You have, like say whether you are a change maker, you are expected to be a change maker, uh, whether you have to establish some strategic partnership with other stakeholders also. You are not the only one. Your own setup is not the only one. You need to reach out to other organizations and other stakeholders as well. So that is where the need for strategic partnerships comes in. And in case of this online business support, I have formed a team of 5 people. One is very good at ClickFunnels, one is very good at copywriting, and I do Facebook ad content. So all these three things together, we can really get very focused and deep into our own skills, right? But these are the digital skills; those are required for growing into a digital world. Why I have learned this skill? Because of the transitional shift that is required, because you one needs to um, one needs to upgrade oneself regularly. So that is why I have learned not to remain backward with the technology and digital space. Building a team, conscious decision making, stress free life, maintaining joyfulness, managerial traits to create leadership, positive formulation of the team, equality, inclusion, and empathy. And these are the aspects one always gets in the way of establishing credibility. And these are the things that I had experienced so much. Like say, it will be a very big thing if we start this thing. But these are the entire course material that I will be handholding you for say lifetime. Now, how would you establish your uniqueness? By discovering the self, right? And I call that as mirror news, and it is about self management and in-depth system to draft an identity upgrade. So you have to know yourself better. You have to change something within that uniqueness. You have to say consolidate something within that uniqueness to make yourself stronger. And that is how you from version 1 you become version 2. Version 1 is better than version 1. So uh, regularly we will upgrade ourselves. So this will be the first thing. And how we do that, we chart a niche and choose a piece out of that. Everything we cannot do at the same go, at one go, and comply that. Whatever we choose, we need to complete that, and we take baby steps. It is not a very it is not something which you will do, um, like say it is very rigorous, but it is consistent. Every day you have to take some step and complete it. The second thing is never stop learning. As I say, you have to grow, and how you will grow yourself. You have in order to stay relevant, you have to reinvent yourself a bit. You will know when we discuss about your story and thrive. You should not resist the change and should not resist the learning, right? Third thing is know your worth. While you are learning, because there are other people also learning, maybe you will not be as good as some other people, but you should know that your uniqueness is there. Like say in the group of three people that I just discussed, these people actually were part of the same group, digital skill learning group that I was part of. But why we have chosen I have chosen Facebook ad campaign, the other person has chosen copywriting, and the third person has chosen ClickFunnels, the technical part. Why? Because one has this one has this craving for a certain thing, right? So I chose Facebook ad campaign because that seemed to be the most difficult thing in the entire digital learning space. So I chose, and the other person who chose copywriting, he loves writing, he loves reading copy, and that is why he chose. And the third person is good at the technical space, so he has taken the click. Although all three of us can do this can handle all the three topics very well, right? So you know your work and be humble on your own. Don't feel inferior to the other person because you know your work, right? Mm, when you say sacrifice leisure, it is, I mean to say that you sacrifice the wasting of time which you might be doing. I don't know. You can you might be indulging in some kind of just being yourself for the entire day doing nothing. So you can just cut down from that a bit. And stability means you need to uh, engage in a particular thing that you are learning. There might be many difficult aspects of that thing, but you need to be stable there. The difficulty wouldn't stay for there for all the time. It will go. Then the third thing is sleep. If you are overindulgent about sleep, then you can cut down a little bit of sleep. Action over excuses. If you have decided to do something, then do it. That is a winning hand, and no procrastination. Right? So that is all part of the uniqueness exercise that we do. And when we say establishing credibility, so this is about being the best at work. And this one I call a sneaky schedule, and this is about people management. Um, mm, like say you have to redefine the workplace thing and achieve the breakthrough opportunities to scale up. Heeding to intuition ahead of evidence is an ethereal strategy to win confidence. If somebody is doing something, what do I mean by this? If somebody is doing something which is not in the true spirit of the team, then you should observe that person very closely. Why he or she is doing that? You just follow your gut feeling and allow one chance, one another chance to that person. Support that person and help that person to contribute the best. And that is how the workplace intimidation goes. Everybody can observe that you are going out of your way to help that person grow, and that is an immense thing that you can do. And for that, you need to be on your best also. You cannot just ignore your work, your responsibility, your part of the work, and just go on helping other people. So that is, and maybe there will be adversity, ambiguity, confusion, and all those things. But you need to tide over all that, right? And this is why I call it as a turn the tide. You just reverse the position with your intention, your good work, and your support. So how we do that? Design, demonstrate, deliver. So you design. That is how the opportunity comes. So whatever you are thinking to do, it is of course a team design, but you can have your own say, and you can share this how you are going to deliver this also, and share with the team. So the team knows that you are going to do this particular thing this way, and demonstrate that when you are already doing this, people are knowing, and that is a demonstration of your skills, and you are achieving something, and you are attracting opportunity because you have already designed and delivered something, right? And belief become bloom. Believe your intuition, as I say, and once you start believing your intuition, you will become that person, and once you become that person, you will bloom in your area of work, and that brings in recognition, right? So we will experiment and examine whether this path is okay for you or not. For most people it has been okay. It has been okay with me also. I have done this with this success. The third thing is inspect, inspire, influence, and impact. You know, first thing, people will start saying that, oh, it will not, it is too difficult, it is not possible. So just inspect. For me, it has been like that. Why those difficult projects became possible? Because I took a very close look, and then I started doing that. I inspired, I motivated, as I did already have done, and that influences people, and that creates an impact, right? Then execute, exemplify, expand, and art. So this one I'd associate with the projects that I have been bringing lately, and I have executed two projects at Orissa, and in Orissa, in the funny cyclone affected area of Orissa, Puri and Konark, where I have done this affordable housing for economically weaker section of people. And the other thing I did was this renewable energy solutions, adoption of renewable energy solutions. This Puri area, there is a potter community which creates this containers for the cooking of the prasad at the Jagannath Puri temple, and it is huge. Every day, thousands of pots were required. But when the cyclone had hit these people, the, um, the people were not able to um, create this pot. So that is when, because the wheel was running of electricity, it is not possible to do it. Because the community has reduced. Now, smaller number of people are doing this. So these people could do with the installation of solar panels, they could start work. And there was no discontinuity of cooking of the prasad at the temple. So that is the example we give. So now, because I did that, now people know that we can execute something, and can show the world that these are the things we can do. So that is why With that one example, we are actually able to get more projects, and we are able to expand beyond Orissa to about, say, at least 10 states of, like, say, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, and Orissa, Bihar, Jharkhand, West Bengal, Assam, and whole of Northeast. We can cover, right? So when you grow, as Russell Brunson says, that when you grow, there is a limit how you can grow onto yourself. You need to start contributing to people's uh, growth. So here is where you can start guiding people, your teammates, and other teams also, and you start growing. That is how one enterprise begins to happen. Like the same way I am doing, I'm a strategic partnership consultant. That is one of my work. The other work can be the online business, where I am, from my experience, I'm trying to inspire a whole lot of people who can replicate my model, my area, my mindset, right? And my vision is to impact 1 billion people in 139 countries with a $1 billion enterprise. So this is the starting point. When you are growing, you cannot go haphazardly. So it has to be an institution. Institution is what? It is a setup. It is a setup where people personally grow, right? People grow. And how you can do that? You can hustle, you can handhold, and you honor each other in this institution, and share. And that is how this institution starts growing. These are all part of your being resilient, how you establish credibility, right? Now, coming to the third secret, manifesting the dream, which we discussed as the depth. That is the third aspect. And this is manifesting the dream, where I call it as golden gambit, and it is about dream management, where all our mindsets actually is about behavior, action, perception, and attitude. Any change, whatever whatever I have discussed so far, all of them are part of these four factors. So according to these four factors, you just tweak a bit and you will see the change. That is what I have observed. And anybody who has done that, he or she has observed. That is how miracles happen. That is when your dreams will get fulfilled. They will come to reality. They will actualize, right? And once your dreams start happening on their own, because you have a wonderful mindset, then it becomes a joyful living, right? How we can do that? Forgive, forgive, formulate, foster, and going with the flow. So when you think that everything is not under your control, you just forgive people. You don't take grudges. You forgive people, forgive, uh, let's say, forget about your anger, formulate a new design of dealing with people, and kind of give give care to that relationship, foster it, so that a new relationship gets created, and go with the flow. And despite that also, what will happen is, maybe you will receive some negative responses. Doesn't matter, just go with the flow. You have to know that these are the things that is meant to happen for your own benefit, and you are going to get into a very, very great enterprise because of this. Certitude, gratitude, fortitude, belief, credence, faith is uh, generated because of your gratitude factor. Other is, like, say, you accept yourself. Fortitude is you can find out the exact meaning of that. Uh, but these are the three factors uh, encouraged by gratitude. You be grateful for 10 to 20 things in a day, every day. Your life is full of blessings. But since we are focused on the negative things, we are not able to recognize them. But if you start feeling grateful about certain things, about your blessings in life, then the life becomes a life of blessings and of great achievement. That is how the big people they are progressing, right? Perception, positivity, pronouns. So whatever perception. So let me tell you a story out here. Suppose two people are quarreling amongst themselves. When you are along with them, what you can see that the one person is saying something, you agree or disagree with with that. The other person is saying something else, you either agree or disagree with that. How do you stop them from quarreling? You have to get a little beyond that thought process. So I describe that as going to the third floor and watching from there. So whatever you watch from the same level, it will be very different and very more detailed from third floor. If you go to the fifth floor, it is still better. And when you go to the 10th floor, you don't see the problem anymore, right? So you need to get higher and higher, and this is all about perception. You don't physically climb to the 10th floor. In your perception you need to change. Your perception need to change towards positivity. And when you are positive about something, in the midst of the negativity, if you can pronounce your positivity, that is how you inspire, right? Understand, underline, utilize, respect and value. This is about money. Understand where money is coming and how it is getting spent. Underline the use, utilize it properly, invest in yourself, respect the money coming and money getting generated, and that is how money will come. That is very, very critical aspect of your dream management, right? And visualize your success every day. The gurus are saying that unless you think about this success, how can it ever happen? Because you are in this you are listening to this webinar because you have already started visualizing this. uh, this thing needs to be done. You need to take the insight from somebody. That has to be done. So that is why have you have started here. So first thing, how you visualize your success, you have to imagine that it has already come. You believe that it will happen, and then you achieve this same thing. So that is how success happens. It has happened for everybody. That is how everybody has succeeded. And practice more gratitude, light-hearted, exuberant. It will make you exuberant. You know, when you are successful, you become very bright. Your spark will touch everybody. You become light-hearted. You will let go everything in life. And despite all the problem, I don't remember all those things. So that has been my learning. So mm, this can be a trick. Then what actually, as just now we discussed, this one actually has attracted me very much, the money mindset. And I came across a poster like this, how to have a money mindset. And if you can see, it is part of what we already discussed, right? This is what we discussed. And it has nothing to do with money. See, where is money here? But this is part of the income pusher. The income gets higher if you adopt all these things. So this is part of whatever we are trying to learn, right? And now the offer. Can I tell you about the offer right now? So this is performance optimization blueprint, all that we have discussed. One is the overall guideline about this thing. With this, actually, it is a 3-day course, and I visualize it to spread to 25,000, the 25,000 leaders, and it will change the life of 25,000 leaders. And when they uh, I I actually enhance this with a bonus, which is about creating a mindset blueprint so that it becomes enhanced and strengthened within you, and you become like member of my hub, and it comes with a weekly group coaching as I discussed. The second is consolidating all that learning with with whatever we have discussed so far, um, and it gives you further learning uh, with more in-depth exercises, and a monthly one-to-one call. And this is where our goal gets set. My goal is to have the global enterprise in 139 countries, and it is up to March 28th. This is the stage where we design all this. The third is transition to passion prize blueprint, where you will learn the skills, the digital skills, and this is a 6 months course, and I'll teach you about course design, how to design a course the way I have designed, how you can design your course, and Facebook ad campaign, ClickFunnels, copywriting, and audience insights. The fourth is one-to-one, of course. Mm, all these packaged together, and I will consult you um, whenever you require. Sorry, it is not for 12 months, it is for life. And whatever course I design, whatever insight I generate uh, over a time, all that will come to you for free once you join this course. So take a decision to be with me, and and the fourth level one to one, it is the entire course value is say $3,800. But if you join today, then I'll start with uh, just $250, right? With the first level, if you want to join, it is just $250. So this is what all about the course, and I'll also post this as the recording of this. I'll post, and you can take a look and go about it. And if you need the course, then you can reach out to me. And thank you for joining, and looking forward to your responses. Thank you.